And for the first time, there was a new school of thought that was chemically induced that made people question the very society they lived in. By 1960, the President of the United States was only 42 years old. Can you imagine? DMX is older than that. And he was going to usher in a new era of peace. He was going to avoid the Cold War. He was going to end segregation. And they blew his brains out in front of everyone in Dallas. This country was never the same.
Right now, if you had them prepare themselves in whatever way they would have to prepare themselves to come to battle, and I bet what I have, everything I have, that meatloaf.
Are there any good white people in the world?
There may be, but it doesn't matter. And you know why? No matter how good an individual white person may be, they have an obligation to look out for the best interests of the white race.
I seen this dude screaming, crying, saying, "You fuckers did it right now. I don't want to hear nothing from you self-righteous libs, Democrats. We're coming for you." Knowing damn well the person that did it, y'all know what it is. Betty White.
We gotta talk about how these Charlie Kirk supporters are wilding right now, trying to pin the blame on black and brown folks just because nobody's shedding tears for him. This is the same man who once said black people were better off before civil rights, since crime was lower back then.
This shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Can you believe that? And let's not forget, these are the same voices that mocked Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, and so many others taken by violence. But suddenly they want to play victim because people aren't mourning Charlie. The hypocrisy is insane. Now black celebs are speaking up. Some are trying to keep it cool, but others are going all in, saying they have zero sympathy for him. 50 Cent even dropped a post so savage it got deleted after fans claimed it went too far. Things got so heated, some of Charlie's own followers started sending threats at him. And yet, when the Colorado school shooting went down just hours later, they stayed completely silent. Amanda Seales called it out straight up, saying she has no empathy for Charlie. None at all. Then, you got Dr. Umar stepping in, trying to play mediator, telling black folks they shouldn't be cheering over Charlie's death. But what do these reactions really show? Is it just for shock value? Or does it say something way deeper about how divided America really is?
Men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but I guess...
Racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been.
That affected...
Stick around, because I'm about to break down exactly what these celebs said, what they tried to delete, and why their words are shaking the whole conversation around Charlie Kirk's assassination. The first big name to step in, none other than 50 Cent. And you already know, in true 50 fashion, he didn't pull up with no polished statement or fake condolences. Instead, he went straight savage, posting a screenshot of the moment Charlie got shot and captioned it with, "Wanna know how I feel about this? I don't know, but I do know it's a good time to shut the F up." That set the internet on fire. Charlie's supporters went crazy, accusing 50 of being cold, heartless, and even celebrating Kirk's death. The comment sections were flooded with angry fans screaming that 50 is finished and calling for him to be canceled. Some even crossed the line with threats, saying things like, "Hope you're next." And clearly, the heat got to him because within hours, 50 deleted the post quietly, but the damage was already done. But not everybody thought 50 was out of line. Plenty of folks defended him, reminding people that Charlie Kirk made his whole career off minimizing black pain, pushing racist conspiracy theories, and mocking victims of police brutality. They were like, don't ask us to show empathy when this same man never showed any to us. One fan even wrote, "I'm not feeling no sympathy for someone who would call me every slur in the book. Sorry, bookie." Another blasted the hypocrisy, saying, "All this outrage is performative nonsense, but where's the energy for parents losing their kids in school shootings? The double standard is wild." Then came D.L. Hewley, and you know he didn't hold back either.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
First, DL shared a TikTok video pointing out the irony of Charlie once saying it's worth having a few shooting victims here and there if it means keeping his guns, and that's not made up. He really said deaths are worth it in his own words. But DL wasn't done. He then posted a clip of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson asking Congress to pray for Charlie and his family, and DL clapped back hard, writing, "Did Mike Johnson do this for school shooting victims? Did he do this for Congresswoman Hortman and her husband Mark, who were killed?" And when news broke that Trump ordered U.S. flags to be flown at half-mast to honor Charlie, DL lost it again, pointing out that Trump literally ordered flags raised when the Pope died, yet suddenly lowered them for Charlie Kirk. The hypocrisy had him fuming, and he made sure everybody knew it. Think about it. We've never lowered flags for innocent kids gunned down in schools, and Trump didn't do it for Congresswoman Hortman either.
Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but
I have watched any number of people of all kinds of stripes, people, theologians, politicians, people who consider themselves activists, all kinds of people on the conservative right talk about empathy, and they talked about empathy as if it was a pariah, empathy as if it was a moral failing, and they referred to empathy as a weakness. And it's interesting that they would call themselves Christian and be anti-empathy, because that is a core tenet of Christianity. So that is being a Christian without the empathy is like being a sushi chef without the fish. But empathy is apparently a weakness to a lot of people, and you never know. But I've always believed and hold this now, that empathy is quintessentially human. Human. It is the core of humanity. It certainly is the core of Christianity, if you call yourself Christ-like. But how is it that you can despise empathy, that you think it is a weakness, that you think that people are susceptible to it, like it's the cold or the flu, and that you despise empathy, but would like it when someone who you love is hurt or killed? We can either decide to be human and empathic, whether we relate to, like, or understand a person or not. But in America, nothing is more American. Nothing is more quintessentially who we are than violence against people we disagree with, and then having a lack of empathy when we don't relate to them, when we don't like them, when they don't look like us. I don't know how you can be a Christian nation and call yourself a Christian nation and extol the virtues of Christianity, but only be empathic when they look like you. That's not Christianity. That's not humanity. That's tribalism.
Is this whole thing tragic? Of course. But does it really deserve a full national ceremony? You already know the answer to that. DL then exposed another layer of right-wing hypocrisy. Charlie Kirk and his crew always preached that empathy is weakness, yet now they're demanding the whole country show empathy for a man who literally said he hated the word empathy and called it a made-up term. The irony is unreal. But DL wasn't finished. He came back swinging with a video compilation titled Hate and Bigotry, Charlie Kirk's Real Legacy, putting Charlie's own words front and center. One clip showed Charlie denying George Floyd was killed by a cop. Another had him openly saying he wanted Derek Chauvin released. DL made sure people couldn't forget the receipts. And then DL dropped the most explosive angle yet, the cover-up theory. He hinted that Charlie might have been taken out by the same crowd he used to defend. DL wrote, "I just want to remind everyone, when someone shot Trump, they immediately screamed radical left and liberal extremist, but it turned out to be someone from his own side." Then he added a final punch in the caption. "Remember, when you point one finger at somebody, there's 3 fingers pointing right back at you." Let's get one thing straight. DL wasn't out here cheering anybody on. He was breaking down the racial and political optics, showing how America treats violence differently depending on who's involved. But of course, Charlie Kirk's loyal fans were heated, accusing DL of deflecting from the tragedy and making excuses for the shooter. On the flip side though, Plenty of people agreed with DL, saying Kirk's followers were just looking for a reason to spark a race war. And they're mad that black folks are minding their own business and refusing to take the bait. The divide is real. But DL isn't the only one catching heat from Kirk's fan base. Amanda Seales is getting dragged too. She made it crystal clear during a live Instagram chat that she wasn't about to muster up any fake empathy for Charlie Kirk. When people in the comments started pushing her to show compassion,
I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. First of all, Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy. He said it's a bad thing. He said it's some new age made up shit. He also said people gotta be sacrificed in order to protect guns. If he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of empathy. But this white on white violence, he died? Damn, B. Life comes at you fast. I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk because I cannot be in his shoes. I have no frame of reference for that. I have no cognizance for that. There literally is nothing about his existence that I can relate to.
Amanda clapped back, reminding them that Charlie himself didn't believe in empathy to begin with. She went further, saying she can't have empathy for someone like Charlie because she can't relate to his world, his choices, or his existence at all. And as expected, Kirk's fanboys swarmed on her, calling her every name in the book. And it's not just white supporters either. Go on X right now and you'll see plenty of black men piling on Amanda too. The backlash is messy, and it shows how deep this controversy has cut. They came at Amanda with every insult in the book. Scum, idiot, sociopath, even calling her the B word and worse. Meanwhile, some white commentators were ranting that she should be stripped of citizenship, deported, and screaming about so-called black fatigue. The hate was non-stop. But here's the thing, Amanda wasn't standing alone. She had plenty of defenders who pointed straight back at Charlie Kirk's long track record of racist, anti-black rhetoric. They argued she wasn't celebrating his death at all. She was simply refusing to put on some fake sympathy for a man who built his brand causing harm and division. One fan laid it out perfectly. Nowhere in there did she celebrate his death. Nowhere in there did she push hate. She said she doesn't have empathy for him. He said empathy is a new age word that's dangerous. He said it himself, so he didn't have empathy and didn't even want it from others. That comment had people nodding, tired of the foolishness. The same fan added, "Is it sad he was killed? Yes. But does everybody have to care? Number. He spread real hate and lies with his rhetoric. But now that he's gone, we're supposed to pretend he was a saint? I think not. I'm not celebrating his death, but I'm not mourning either. And that doesn't make me evil or hateful." Another person praised Amanda, writing, "She's too real." Now I get why the media isn't on her side. The media hated Malcolm X too, until I started listening to her. That comparison lit up the comment section and showed how polarizing Amanda's stance really is. One fan summed it up with, "I had no idea what Amanda was really about. Salute to this woman from across the world. She's realer and braver than your fave rapper and your fave rapper's fave rapper." That comment set the tone. But y'all, we also got to get into Dr. Umar Johnson, because folks thought he was going to come with the same fire as Amanda. Instead, Umar decided to lecture black people about their reactions to Charlie Kirk's death, and that didn't sit right with a lot of folks. Umar dropped a long statement on IG saying, "While I did not agree with Mr. Kirk's rhetoric and considered him to be an anti-black bigot, I will never rejoice at the loss of life of anyone who hasn't directly participated in the killing of a member of the black African race. I'm ashamed to see members of my community celebrating the situation. I will never ask you to mourn the loss of an enemy of our race, but to celebrate a killing is completely unacceptable. We know all too well that the greatest victims of political assassinations in this country have been our own people. Stop laughing at the misfortunes of others and get prepared." political assassinations have returned to the United States of America, courtesy of the deep state. But his followers weren't buying it. They clapped back at Umar for softening the blow and accused him of moralizing when no one asked. One person even snapped under his post, "I wonder if you would have written this if they shot you." The backlash was loud, showing that Umar's message didn't land the way he thought it would. Just a thought. Plenty of people pointed out that nobody's actually celebrating here, they're just refusing to mourn him. And then one fan went all the way off, writing, 50 lashes for you, Dr. Umar, for posting this. You think any non-black would post something like this for you? Stop giving away your energy to vampires. The internet is going wild, and this backlash against Umar shows just how messy things have gotten. And let's be real, the chaos is only getting worse from here. The dark truth is that whoever planned this assassination achieved exactly what they wanted: division. America feels more split than ever, and every reaction proves how easily violence can be turned into a weapon to pit people against each other. Celebrities, politicians, regular folks, everybody has something to say, and all this outrage is exactly what the act was designed to provoke. So the question is, what do you make of these reactions from 50, Umar, and the others? Are we even capable of looking at the bigger picture anymore, or are we too divided to realize we're all being played by the same puppet masters? Make sure you hit subscribe to Dripzine, like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share it with somebody who needs to hear this.